awesome.
Trying to just dealing with some of this coronavirus, chaos.
Oh, yeah.
Work, that's about it.
So you remember me from Germany, don't you?
Oh, yes.
I met you in the back room when you guys had just got in. At Truheim.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. So, do you want to just dig right in?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so, you've been with Riot V for the last 7 years. Armor of Light was released within the last 2 years. The band recently completed an extensive tour. What motivated you to take on the challenge of going out for The Voice?
I think really what motivated me was, first of all, just seeing if I could make it, if I could get on the show. And I just thought it would be fun. To me, I guess, to me the bigger challenge is it takes some of my time or whatever, but I mean, other than that, I enjoy singing, I enjoy performing, so that part of it's not really a challenge per se.
Right.
Other than the challenge, I guess you'd say, of the contest itself, but I guess to me, like I said, I guess I went in and I thought, well, geez, I wonder what could happen, and it'd be fun to get on TV, and, let me just see what happens, and I'll give it a shot, and then, and then it happened, so it was like, okay, that's cool. But it's just a matter of, having a chance to perform at a really high level where you're exposed to a lot of people. I mean, why wouldn't you want to do that as a performer?
Yeah, definitely. It was a great performance. I watched it as soon as you posted it. It was phenomenal.
Thank you.
How did your family and your bandmates react to your involvement with The Voice?
Everybody's been really supportive, really. My immediate family, my wife and kids, they are all pretty shy and don't really understand my desire to be in the limelight. So I think for them, they felt a little uncomfortable maybe being on TV when they were there at the blind audition.
Right.
But all of my bandmates, in Riot, have been really supportive and really excited for me. They've known for a while and had to keep it quiet and been excited along with me. So.
Gotcha. What was going through your mind just prior to choosing to go with Blake?
I think the tough thing is, people don't realize how hard the decision is. Like, I can only imagine how much worse it would have been if I would have had 3 or 4 chairs,
Right.
But you try to, you do listen to what they say, and it's hard because you don't make the decision until the end. Most of us, I think some people, maybe they know ahead of time. For me, it's tough. You don't really know who's going to turn, and you're not sure who to pick, and what they say does make a difference. And in my case, when Blake mentioned that he was so into hard rock and everything, that's really what swayed it for me. I figured, well, if he's into hard rock, then at least he can understand me a little bit, and then maybe that's the best way to go.
Right, yeah, I thought that was cool when he said that. Had you at all considered auditioning with your guitar?
Not really. I don't know. I play guitar all right, but I don't play that well, and I don't play rock guitar that well. I'm mostly like a strummer. I play guitar well enough to write music.
Yeah.
And I did, I played the guitar on my first solo album and stuff, but it's mostly kind of buried in there somewhere. I'm not a great guitar player, and I find it distracting. So, I like to put my total focus into singing, and
right.
and obviously in a band like Riot, I'd never even think about touching a guitar because those guys are so good that I would really pale in comparison, Right. So I think if it were the right song, I would, but I had in mind to rock out a bit, and I don't play rock guitar very well.
Uh-huh. Why did you pick Jukebox Hero, and what song was your second choice?
I picked Jukebox Hero because I love the song. I've loved it since 1981. But one of the reasons I picked it too is I love the ad-lib ending of the song where it goes up high on the last chorus, and I thought, it'd be really fun to show off some higher notes. And so that was really primarily why I picked that one. And that's the one I did a cappella in my first walk-on audition, and they liked it, so I kind of kept that one for my song. Second choice, I don't know. I guess I had I think Journey, Don't Stop Believin' was a second choice. I actually had thought about Another Thing Coming by Judas Priest.
Right.
That was in there as well. So I had a couple like that in there.
Yeah, I was talking to a friend about your performance the other day, and And I was listening to Boston in the background, and More Than a Feeling was playing, and I was like, oh my God, Todd should have done that song.
Yeah, that is, that one, I did not think of that for blind auditions, but if I can get far enough to get to the live rounds, that's certainly one I would consider. I absolutely love that song, and Brad Delp is one of the most underrated singers the world's ever seen. I mean, most people don't know who he is, yet he's incredible,
Yes, definitely.
So yeah, I would certainly put it in the quiver for the potential for live rounds if it were my choice, that's for sure.
Right. So, of all of the participants involved in this season of The Voice, who has really surprised you?
I mean, as far as singers, actually, there's been quite a few surprises. I would probably say, though, like, for me, and I don't know if this will sound terrible or not, but I think for me, probably the biggest surprise has probably been a guy named Roderick Chambers. And the reason is he looks like a football player of a guy, but he's got the most delicate, voice. I mean, he can sing with power too, but I'm saying he has a great ability to use his falsetto and stuff, and he's just a sweetheart of a man. He's kind of he's a little on the shy side,
Mm-hmm.
But he's probably been the biggest surprise, because the reality is when we go through the process, I really don't get to hear the people sing.
Oh, gotcha.
At least not very many of them. So I was just as excited as everybody else, because I know a lot of people from going through the process, and then getting to see them perform on TV is the first time I'm seeing their performance. And I remember, Roderick was one that really, really surprised me, because he doesn't really look what he sounds like. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's get into some Riot. Taking into account Riot V's entire history, which albums do you favor?
That I like the most, you mean?
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, for me, it kind of comes down to like singers, and I really struggle. I really like Guy Speranza, and I struggle with deciding if he and Tony are my favorite, because Tony Moore is as well. When we perform, we tend to play a lot of songs off Thundersteel, which tends to maybe have me leaning toward Thundersteel as my favorite, but then I really love Fired on Under. Some of the Rock City songs are great too. But I'd say certainly those are the ones that are up there for me. I love Brett Forster also. He has a great voice, and they have some great songs too. And the same is really true for the Mike DeMeo era, but the reality is we don't focus on playing those as much, so they're just kind of naturally not as high on the list for me.
Right.
We tend to focus more on the power metal side.
Gotcha. Your duet last year covering Shallow with Marta of Crystal Viper, how did that come about?
I've known Marta for quite a few years now. When I was singing with Burning Star, we had to play some shows in Europe, and we needed a second guitar player. And Bart Gabriel, who had produced our album Land of the Dead, said, "Well, why don't I have Marta play?" And we were like, "Oh wow!" And like nobody thought about it, but she was already in Crystal Viper, and she's a very accomplished musician. And so she had prepared all the songs in advance, and I think they may have done a couple Skype calls or whatever, her and Ned or something. But we got there and rehearsed, I think, for a day, and then played like the Keep It True Festival and then 3 other shows after that, and she did a great job. It was so fun to hang out with. I actually have a really neat picture in my office, a behind-the-scenes picture of us all getting ready for one show that we played in Germany, and it was, it's just a fun memory of mine. And so she's been my friend since then, and then Bart is her husband, is the reason really I got in Riot, because he was the one that was friends with Donnie and trying to help Donnie find a singer, and he's the one that had told me, hey, Riot's looking for a singer, and hooked Donnie and I up. So
that's awesome.
So we've stayed friends since then, and interestingly enough, it's a nice twist for people that are interested in the voice as well, is that Marta, she makes custom clothing. She had a side business for a while doing it, and I know she's made like jackets for the guys in oh my god, I didn't forget the name. Who's the military themed band? I totally forget their name. They're just really popular out of Sweden. They're out of Sweden or whatever. oh gosh, but even she made some of their clothes. But even Marta made the leather pants that I wore in the battle round of the voice.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, and she's actually Marta made the clothes, the kind of now I guess famous clothes that we had for the Riot Armor Light, you know, with the red stripe down the side of the pants and whatever have you on the shirts. She made all of our outfits for that. So yeah, so I kind of have a lot of connection with Marta. And what had happened is last year she said, "Hey, you know, I'm gonna, you know, we're gonna both be playing this festival in Sweden." Which was oh my God, and the name of the festival is the name of this band. I can't even think of it. What is the name? I can't think of the name of that band, but it's driving me crazy. Tip of the tongue. But even, she's like, we're both going to be there. Why don't we record Shallow and then we can shoot a video that same day? And that's what we did. We had pre-recorded it and then just shot a quick video at this festival.
Nice.
And and that's kind of how we got together. We've known each other for years. She just contacted me. I said, yeah, sure.
Awesome. Let's see. Now that most of the planet is under quarantine, the music industry is at a standstill. What's the band doing in the meantime? New album? What's in the future?
Yeah, I mean, we had planned to not really, you know, we didn't have anything booked until July anyway, so we had planned to kind of focus on writing during this time period anyway. So Mike and Donnie are doing a lot of focus on music right now, and you know, I've been a little busy, but at some point I got to get started on focusing on some lyrics and vocal melodies on the music as well. So that was our goal, see if we couldn't get something written and recorded and hopefully have something released before the end of the year.
Awesome. And finally, your top 5. Which 5 albums are your go-to choices and why?
Oh my God, man, that's so hard. I mean, I think what I would do is I would probably take it from more of like which ones kind of really blew me away and influenced me back in the day. I mean, number one to me would probably have, and this is, it's not really their best album, but probably The Warning by Queensryche, just because that was like the album in the concert where I was just like, oh my God, completely blown away by Jeff Tate.
Yep.
Now, I don't necessarily think it's their best album, but it had a big impression on me. You know, I think also up there would be, and this, you know, would be Manowar. I always loved Eric Adams from Manowar. And, you know, maybe an album like Silent Billy, you know, I just thought they were awesome and memorable albums. There's quite a few. All of those first Manowar albums I loved, right up to King of Metal and everything.
Nice.
Another artist that I really loved back then was Tony Harnell from TNT, and so I thought Knights of the New Thunder and Town No Tales were both incredible albums.
Oh yeah.
Listen to them a lot. I really like Tony Mills from Shy. They had an album called, and I didn't necessarily follow all their albums, you know, over the years or whatever, but they had one called Excess All Areas that I really liked. That influenced me a lot as a singer, I think. Then probably a couple other ones that I just absolutely loved, and it's almost like one-hit wonder bands. Like Warrior had an album that was called Fighting for the Earth that I absolutely loved. And then there was another band called Malice. They had an album called In the Beginning. I really loved that one too. Just some kind of oddballs in there. But yeah, I mean, other than that, God, there's so many good ones. You know, Peace of Mind by Iron Maiden. Although really Seventh Son by Iron Maiden is probably my more favorite, you know, album of theirs. But you know, I mean, Holy Diver by Dio. I mean, you know, God, there's so many. It's like trying to pick your top is like, you know.
Right, it is. It's very hard. One of my tops is definitely Riot with Guy Speranza. Those were my favorites when I actually got to see them play here in Salem, Oregon, at the Oregon Jam was what it was called. 1981 or 2, I believe.
That would have been awesome.
Yes, it was. Well, that's all I got for you. If you want to add anything, that would be great.
Hey man, I just, you know, hey, thank you to you and the Readers of Metal Chaos for giving me a chance to do an interview. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you so much for calling.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
Hey, take care. I'll see you sometime soon.
Yep. Bye.